Good morning everybody. Sorry that I haven't been here for just over a week. I've had a very sick father, but he's okay now. So I'm going to do a full class again today, and we're going to start with a seated warm-up. So if you struggle with seated warm-ups, you must always try and keep your hands so you can support your spine, or indeed sit with just off the edge of a cushion. Other than that, I hope you're all well, and I hope there's no injuries. If I need to know of any, please do let me know on individual WhatsApp so I can help you, all right? If any of you ever want a private program written for an injury, just let me know because I can do that for you. Okay, let's go. Seated warm-up then. Sit bones, lift the rib cage, draw the shoulder blades down, knees hip width apart and in line with that second toe. And then you'll feel your hips kicking in a bit, as in the hip flexors. That's when you put the hands back and just pull the shoulders back, lift the ribs again and soften the elbows. That way you're supporting your spine. So the next thing to do is to start to breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. Now just breathe wide and full into your ribs, gently blowing out through your mouth. Just get that breathing going. Think as you go about relaxing around the legs, so just let them go if you can. Pull those shoulders down so you don't sink into them, and they're not relaxed but they're not tense. And then once you've done that, we're going to activate the core with our pelvic floor today. So think about that internal lift with the 10 floors. I want you to take a breath in, pull up to the top floor, the 10th floor. Feel that, you'll feel that in the buttocks as well. Now let that slowly come down. So that's an overactivation. Let's do the halfway house now. So breathe in and pull halfway up. And then down you go. That's still an overaction. So let's go for just a third of the way up. So breathe in, pull up to the 3rd floor, and just try and maintain that while we do a bit of a warm up. So let's just start with gently opening the knees and closing up again, but not putting them together. So that you're just opening the hips a little bit more as you go. Breathe as you go, so just breathe out to go out, breathe in to come back, and then just do one more of those. We're going to do single legs, so don't let the other leg move, and just turn the sole of the foot in. And just do 2 more of those, so you're just getting the core to work on asymmetry, which it likes preventing rotation. Come back from there, lift up tall, bring the hands round. Now just to gently sink back and forth. So it's just tip off the sit bones by tilting your pelvis backwards, so that's that way, and then rise up so you re-establish your low back curve. So it's just a little bit of a mobilizer in the lumbar spine, and it gets your tummy muscles, your abdominal muscles to kick in as well. And breathe. Breathe in to come back. Now let's think about lifting the arms a little bit and lowering them. So not too high to start with. So it's just up and down, then lift them a little bit higher, and down, and then one more. Breathing in and then breathing out. Now circle the arms this time, and this will mobilize the shoulders a little bit more. And you're holding yourself in that upright position, so try not to let the body slouch. And just one more of those, and then relax. Just push one leg forward and then slide it back. Then the other leg, slide it back. Just hovering slightly off the floor as you do it if you can. If you can't, then slide the heel along the floor. So breathe out. And breathe in. And then just 2 more. That just gets the knees moving, the ankles moving a little bit, and the hips too. So come back from there, lift up, and we're just going to roll the knees to one side, back to centre. That starts to get the hips moving again, but your spine is slightly rotating as well. So just down we go. One more, and one more set. Finish always with doing the same on both sides, and then cross the ankles a little bit, or just do a few side bends. So lift the arm up and sweep over and stretch the opposite side of the body, and then do the same on the other side. And this is, as I've said before, it's called a dynamic stretch. It's a moving stretch, but it's also mobilising the spine in lateral flexion. So breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Come back to centre, sweep the hands in, fingertips on your chin, thumbs on your breastbone, and then just breathe in again, just pull in that core, so pull up to the 3rd floor, and just twist round and back to centre. So again, we're mobilising that spine in rotation. That way we pretty much cover all those actions that the spine can do, that you're warming it up to do. One more is just clasp those hands round the upper back and then pull up tall, round and pull. Breathe out, breathe in. One more. And then just relax for a moment. We're going to do a seated exercise first, and it's for the shoulder girdle. It's to get it moving actually. So this does require that you sit comfortably for you. So that may be crossed legs, it may be legs out a little bit, or it might be with that cushion wedged up behind your bottom. I want you just to take the palms out to the side, hands facing to me. Pull the shoulders back and down. Try and relax through here, and then breathe in and pull up through the core. I want you to stretch the arms out to each side, and then you're just going to come in like this. You lift the shoulders to the ears, you drop them down again, and then you open out again. So you breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. So just keep that going. Always start it with an out breath. Always lift up on an in breath. Sink the shoulders down on the out breath. In breath at the bottom. So we just do a few of these. You may notice one shoulder is more comfortable doing it than the other, or one lifts higher than the other. And that's all about what goes on in your shoulder joint. I hope it's okay. One more. Okay, now uncross and just sit and rest there for a moment. You've got one more little seated challenge, and what we're going to do is hold on with your hands on the mat again. Sit tall as you can, pull the shoulders back and soften the elbows again, and just relax your legs. I want to breathe in and activate the core. Turn one foot out, doesn't matter which. And then on an out breath, you lift it. And on an in breath, you lower. Now this is relatively difficult because it's the whole weight of your leg that you're lifting. So keep going, but if it's too much, bend that leg and lift it like so. Okay, now if you can keep going, we're not going to do lots. You want to make it harder, you take your hands away from the floor. Okay, so breathing out, breathing in. If you're slouching, again, don't worry, put the hands back down or bend the leg. Only one more, and you'll feel right up in there, and that's exactly where you've been working, along with the core to try and keep you upright. So bend that leg for a moment, just give it a little moment. We'll give it another stretch in a minute. And then start as we did before. Pull the shoulders back, soften the elbows, sink the shoulders down, relax the legs. Breathe in and activate that core. That's up to that third floor. Turn the other foot out, then up and down. So just working slightly on the inner thighs as well here. Trying not to collapse here. Remember I said if it's a little bit too much, just bend that leg so it's less of a long lever and it won't tire so quickly. Again, you might find one leg much easier than the other. You may want to continue holding on, or you may want to challenge yourself like this. So just 4 more, 3, try not to slouch, 2 and 1. The best bit this time, hug that knee in, is that you're actually going to lie down onto your backs and do a nice hip stretch. So what I want you to do is draw one knee into the chest, stretch the other leg out. That's the leg you're stretching here. On this leg you're stretching your glutes. So just relax into it. Take a deep breath. Just let everything let go in the front of the thigh. Draw the other leg in, straighten out this leg, relax this leg as much as you can, drawing in, and again, just let everything go, particularly around the knee joint in the front of the thigh so the hip will relax. Take a deep breath in, and then let it all go. The next exercise is the one leg stretch. So I want you to lie on your back. If you need a cushion under your head, please use one. And then you're going to take the feet hip width apart, as you always do. Lengthen the neck, draw the shoulder blades down, palms to the side of the body if you can. Now try and sink the shoulders back a bit. Now roll that little marble so you're flattening and arching your spine. And find your way into your neutral. That place where those hip bones and pubic bone horizontally align and you have a slight low back arch. And then try, if you can, to just get your breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, and at the same time relaxing through the shoulders, through the hips and the thighs. Then breathe in, activate that core, and then level 1 will be just a leg slide like this, but try and hover across the floor rather than on the floor. If you want to keep it at that level, you start to add opposite arm to leg. Breathing out, breathing in. Keep going with that. If not, you want to go a bit higher, you can just float one leg up and you're working with one leg and one arm, but you're keeping the other leg still, and I've got my heel lifted to make it a little bit harder, but you can keep the heel down if you wish. What you don't want is your knee coming in, because it will force you into the wrong position in your spine. So it's only there to finish, okay? Now, what we're going to do is, if you want to keep going on that side, do, but if not, lift the other leg up, so it's single into double, and then you're going to work opposite arm and leg. So you can stick with the single legs or the leg slides, breathing out, breathing in. If you're working on that one leg, it may be time to swap to the other side now. And just try to keep everything flat round here, so you're not doming your tummy, making sure you reach up, come back. Keep the heels from dropping, so try and keep that nice and length, literally pop them back on, the legs back on the coffee table to rest each time. Okay, now keep going with that, or if you want to do the last few, making it a little bit harder, you do the double leg stretch. And this time the arms go above you, but they sweep round. So we're looking towards evening up now with everybody. So if you've had single legs going, just make sure you feel you've done about the same on each leg. If you're doing this one, just keep going, or come back to single if you wish. And then I'm going to do the last one. Legs down one at a time. Relax. Straighten the legs. Straighten the arms. Just lie there for a moment in a nice full body stretch and stay where you are. And then hug your knees into your chest. Just have a little rock side to side to release the low back, because that will have been, the core wraps from the back to the front, so it is all the way round as well as top and bottom. And then you're going to roll onto your side, and what we're going to do is a side bend, so a strength move, working all these muscles and the shoulders again. So we have our options here. This is the middle of the road option. So this is one way to set yourself up. This is for those of you who struggle with your wrists and your maybe arthritic thumbs like me. And then pull the shoulder in. If you're down here, pull the elbow under the shoulder joint. If you're up here, get yourself balanced. Pull your waist up, all of you. Let go in the legs so they're not tense. Make sure everything's stacked. Breathe in and activate the core. And on your out breath, I'll do a lower level first. We pull the waist away from the mat, and then on the in breath we come back. Now you can do that one down on the elbow as well, if that's what you'd like to do. If you want to work a little bit more, you start pulling away from the mat with that underside of your waist so that the hips lift up. The arm goes over the side of your ear. So what you don't want is to find your arm coming out here. So just keep it literally over the side of your ear. And your main focus, keep going, is to pull the waist to lift you, not to push through this hand to lift you. So up we go again, out breath, always on that effort. Now keep going with this. If you like more of a challenge, you're going to straighten out your legs and you're going to bring it up like this, as long as that hip doesn't roll forward or back. So you can choose your levels from here right up to the one I just showed you. Just do 3 more of these. 2, and last one, 1. Good. Okay, now just cross that leg over a moment if you can, and just reach over to the other side so you get the stretch on the part that you just were working, okay? And then you're going to lie down again, this time stretching your arm out, stretching your legs out. If you need to, and your shoulder's not good, put the arm out here, rest your head on a cushion, and just get yourself in a nice straight line. Lift the chin, and then make sure that underneath shoulder is right back. Then push this hip away. We're going to do side lying leg circles. You should have a nice gap under here that remains throughout. So now relax your kneecaps. Breathe in and pull up to that 3rd floor. Lengthen that top leg and hover it. And then what we're going to do is, for your own count of 8, you do halfway round in that circle on 4, that's an out breath, and coming back is an in breath for the other count of 4. So you're not whizzing the leg round, it's quite slow. Check you're not taking the leg too high so that your waist drops. And just keep the foot relatively relaxed. If you really struggle with this, come into this position and go for a clam. And you're still working the same muscle group, just a little bit less of a challenge for you. And sometimes when people are very tall and they have problems with low back, a long leg exercise like this can be really uncomfortable. So if you want to, you can let go, but just make sure that waist is not dropping and your circle is even, your hips are stacked one on top of the other, you don't start rolling forward. And then just a few more. Okie dokie. And then just hold it in the air, and just to finish, flex the foot and push the leg back. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then just drop that leg over the front. I want you just to stay there, slap the thigh if you need to, draw the knee up closer to your chest if you need to. Just stay there for a moment. I'm going to have a nice little stretch now. So from the position you're in, roll onto all fours. Okay, and I just want you to sit yourself back and reach the arms forward so your bottom is not touching your heels. And then you're going to curl up into cat stretch and then just gently drop the low back. Push it to the ceiling again and rounding it, going back again. That's level 1. Level 2, you're going to bring your weight forward and then push, drop the chin to the chest and round to go back. Now this is really just a stretch, so up and over, drop down, pull up again and go back. Okay, and then back into a child pose. If that's not comfortable, I'm always saying this, but rest like this so you can just let everything go in your upper back. We're going to do swimming on all fours now. So what I'd like you to do is bring yourself back up to all fours. Knees under hips, hands under shoulders. Slide the shoulder blades into your back pockets. Lift the chin so that you're looking at the floor rather than forwards or at your thighs. Sorry about my hair. Okay, and then from there, you should feel like a solid table, so you're not dipping in the low back, but you're not hunching. Once you're there, soften the elbows, breathe, and just let go in the back of your thighs. Now if you struggle, tip the tailbone a bit more, and then they'll just let go a little bit. Breathe in and pull up to that third floor. On your out breath, turn the little finger to touch the floor and just reach ahead of you, and then in breath to return. So this is all about making sure the weight is between the 3 limbs left on the floor. So you're not leaning all into one leg or into one arm. Now when you're comfortable with that, start thinking about the legs and pushing them back and do the same thing. You don't put all your weight on one arm. Try not to overlift, keep it so it's just in line here, not up here. And when you're comfortable with that, you can just add opposite arm and leg. Always slide first, lift last. When you lift, what you don't want to happen is your low back goes into a dip. Neither do you want to get yourself hunching in the upper back. So just think long, out breath, in breath, out breath, in breath. Keep the elbows soft. Imagine you've got an afternoon tea set up on your back and you don't want anything to spill off there now. You are the table. So that's why overlifting isn't necessary. And if you do overlift, it rotates your spine. We're just trying to keep it strong through the core for this one. It's working into your glutes and into your shoulder muscles. Okay, just one more on each side. Excuse me. And then sit yourself back into child pose again. Bring the arms down beside you. Again, you have your options. Now what we're going to do is go on to the other side now, but go down first. So extend out like you did before. Nice straight body with everything stacked. The shoulders, the hips, the knees and the ankles. Pull that shoulder back so that you lift your chin. Push that hip away to create the gap here and therefore here. Relax your knees. Now if you need to go straight to clam, bend the knees up to here and then keep everything else the same in the body. So just breathe in, activate the core, and on the out breath, lengthen that top leg and just hover it. We begin with the count of 8, an out breath to go halfway round and in breath to come back. So when you're ready, your out breath and your in breath. So work it with your own breathing cycle, however long it takes you to breathe out and however long it takes you to breathe in. And the main thing is there's no movement here. Everything here should feel tight and drawn in. And if you want to make it a bit harder, you can just have that arm down the side of your thigh instead of balancing you. If your low back does hurt, you can bend that underneath leg a little bit. I didn't say that on the other side, but you can. If you don't want to do the clam, you do want to do this, but you just need a little bit more of a base. So breathing out, breathing in. So you should start to feel a little bit of effort around these glutes. You did just use them for swimming, so it may feel a bit more tired than the other side. Mainly on this one, it's more about the outer thigh. And swimming, it's about the rear. So just keep pulled in, keep pulled up. Keep the leg nice and relaxed. And then just hover it there. And then you're going to push back and forth. Try not to let that top hip roll forward. Mine is slightly. So just try and keep it back, and that is more balance required to do that. And then just do one more of those. And then lower the leg, hug the knees, pop one leg over the top of the other, and just relax where you are for a moment. Little slap if you need to. Massage to get that oxygen back into those muscles. And that will really reduce the lactic feel that you might have. So it's the side bend again now. So up you come when you're ready. Choose your position, whether it's down here. If it's down here, remember, pull the waist away, then put that elbow under your shoulder. Lock the shoulder in place. If it's up here, got a little bit more, it's a bit more of a comfortable way to do side bend like this, to be honest. Almost better to do it this way and not lift the hips. if that's the challenge that you don't need. But other than that, let's do it. Relax the legs, having pulled up here. Breathe in, activate that core again, and then up and over you go on an out breath. Back on your in breath. Out breath, you can have the lift now. In breath to come back. Now try and make it one movement, so it all happens together, and that arm is going over the side of your ear. For those of you who want to work a little harder, straighten out those legs, top leg over the back leg. Does that make sense? The underneath leg, I mean. Pull up, and you can do the full one as long as it doesn't cause you to roll forward. Breathing out, breathing in. Good. So let's keep going, just 3 more of these. So if you do them nice and slowly and you do them properly, pulling from under the waist, you don't need to do it for minutes on end. It's when you're pushing through your knees and pushing through your hands, that's when it loses sight of the area that you're trying to work. Okay, so do a couple more if you want to keep going. If you don't, just come into this little position again and have a rest. So some of you like to work a bit longer on that. So what we're going to do now is a scorpion. So once you're ready to rest, stay here like this and just look at what I'm doing. And all it is putting the hands right by your ears or your face, head to the floor, slide the shoulder blades into the back pocket. Okay, so we're just going to tip that pelvis, so you're tipping it backwards this time to lift your tummy slightly to get you into neutral, and then just try to relax what you can. Breathe in, activate that core, and when you're ready, I just want you to float the chest from the mat, then squeeze one buttock and lift one leg, squeeze the other buttock, lift the other leg if you can, and then hover the hands as well if you can. If that's too much, put those hands down and push a little bit. You can just hold it, working into the low back. If it's too much with 2 legs, try one leg for a few seconds and then try the other leg for a few seconds. Now this is one that you hold to suit you. So you may want to hold it just as one, or you might need a little rest in between. If you do, just take a few deep breaths. Okay. And you're going to do the same again. Slide the shoulder blades down, tilt the pelvis back, relax everything, breathe in and activate the core, float the chest. Keep looking at the mat, squeeze one buttock, lift, other buttock, lift. Float the arms if you wish, and hold. Okay, so that's all there is. Try not to push through the tummy. You should be able to breathe doing this, so hollowing the tummy, but breathing through those lungs. It's just working down the back. And again, relax. Have a few breaths. And then we're going to do one more if you'd like to. So set yourself up again, slide the shoulder blades down, heels out, toes in, tip the tailbone. Relax. Breathe in and activate. Float the chest. Squeeze one buttock. I'll do the other one first. Then the other. Then hover. You can stick with just the upper body, you could stick with just the lower body, one leg, but what you don't want is to be pushing so hard that you can no longer breathe. If you can hold it there a bit longer, do. If you don't want to hold it anymore, take those legs down, take yourself into a position where you can relax. Probably the best way is to bring your hands around the front and just relax like this. Stay there. Take a breath or two that's a little bit deeper than usual, and then when you're ready, just engage your core before you pull yourself up. What we're going to do is finish where we started, which was in seated. Take those feet hip width apart and try again, a little bit wider than hip width apart, out to where you're comfortable. And if that's not here, because your pelvis rocks back, sit on that cushion to tilt your pelvis forwards, or bend the legs like this until you can sit on your sit bones, okay? So from there, slide the shoulders down. We'll start with lower level on the arms, then we'll add in the upper level. So choose your position first. Lift up nice and tall. Try and relax in the hips, not so easy. Relax down the front of the thigh. Then breathe in and just pull up through your core. Hands out here without the shoulders rounding. You're just going to breathe out and breathe in. So it's more of a spine twist. Breathe out, breathe in. So you can keep that going, or you can add a load like this. So you breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. Okay, or you can go one arm behind you, one arm in front, keep them as they are, start to sweep them back like a pair of scales when they reach the middle. Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. What I've done is shortened the breathing cycle to normal. So what you don't want is to go round and down at the same time. You want to take each part of that move separately so that you don't put any pressure on those lumbar discs. Breathe out. Remember, there are other arm options. If you want to make it a little bit harder and stretch the hamstrings a bit more, stay there and do the little soaring action, as if you're going between your big toe and your second toe. Then when you breathe in, come up, so you're staying there for a few breaths, then round you go, a little bit of a soaring action. What you don't want is your opposite buttock trying to lift off the floor. So you just go for as long as you prefer. Just 2 more of these, whichever level you've chosen. Good. And then back we come. Bring the legs in. And just sit and relax for a moment. The best thing to do now is that lower body stretch that I gave you back in the beginning. It's a really good stretch insofar as it covers pretty much every stretch that you would need for your lower body. So I haven't recorded a second one of those. If you want longer still, go to the upper body stretch as well. And it's always good to just keep you moving, keep you mobile and relaxed at the end of a session. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy. Thanks.